Welcome to In Your City Show, and we have a hot list guest. Let me rephrase that. We have a hot list author, Stacy and Garrett Enloe, authors of Mississippi Nights, a history of the music club in St. Louis. We want to thank them for being here today, and I'm excited about this because it's really a part of my history a little bit too in my life, and some of the things that I did as I grew up too. But it's so great to have you here, and the book looks great, and I did get a chance to look through it. And what I love about it is it's got great stories, but it's also great pictures. It's a great picture book. So you can look through it and just see all the different artists that were there. But tell us a little bit about it. Tell us about how this came about. I know the venue opened back in 1976, so it's got a lot of history. But what made you write this book?
Well, I won the awning in there's the awning on the cover. We won that in a auction for the St. Louis
Classic Rock
Preservation Society. They had an auction, and we won it. And then I started the Mississippi Nights fan page. And then I approached Stacy about doing a book, and she said I was crazy. And then once I started bringing more stuff into the house for the Facebook page, she decided that a book would be a good idea.
I knew it needed to be done right to memorialize the venue, and I wanted to make sure that we did it right. And once he brought home the calendars that hung in the office, I knew that we could do it.
How often were you there? Did you experience it?
Oh, probably a few dozen times.
Yeah,
I went.
I was probably there 12,
Did you meet the
15
cookie lady that's in there that brought cookies
yeah.
to the band all the time?
Yes,
Yes,
we met Barb, and I actually ran into her at Aldi recently.
Really?
And she's still around. And,
Were you at the finale at the end too? Did you get to experience the last
I didn't go to that
time?
one. My last show was Buckethead. Your last show was Silvertide, I
Silvertide.
believe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You
And
could
I hugged the building on the last show.
Oh, I bet.
I knew
It's
it
so
was the
sad.
last one for me.
I'm sad I didn't get to experience it. And the book is so beautiful with the pictures. It just takes you back in time. It's so nostalgic. And it was a time before there weren't phones. There was all those things that interrupted our life. It was just loving music and being able to experience it. And so many big stars. I mean, that was it to be at Mississippi Nights.
That's where you got your start for sure. Yeah.
Like you see in the movies.
You know what I love about the venue is the intimacy that you had with the artists.
For sure.
I mean, I got to see Kansas there, one of my favorite singers, and it was just, I mean, the whole band was there for this reunion. Everybody was back, and I was like right there, and it was just so awesome. And you never know who's going to show up at Mississippi Nights, especially after, if you go to a concert in St. Louis, artists from, like, you go to Kiel and see a concert. I saw Supertramp, and I left the Supertramp concert, went to Mississippi Nights, we're sitting there, all of a sudden Supertramp walks in, gets up on the stage.
It's my favorite.
And they didn't play any Supertramp songs. They got on stage and played jazz for 30 minutes. Just jazz songs.
Yeah, it's
but it was the coolest thing ever.
Like Chuck Berry would walk in there and jam, and Greg Allman would pop in. You know, it was great.
What's your favorite experience that you put into the book that you experienced yourself? Or is there something, if you weren't there, but your own experience?
Well, I have a Slayer story in there, but that day they had a Harley Davidson convention on the Laclede Landing.
Okay.
So I partied all day long. You know, we went to the Harley Davidson convention. They had cheap beer. Then we went to Slayer. That was fantastic. And that's how the landing.
And you remember it.
That's
so you
all.
didn't drink. So you obviously didn't drink too much beer because you remember it.
Remember the moments.
Well, that's how the landing used to be. It was always some kind of event going on. They don't really do that anymore.
No,
they
it was
would need the money to
such
redo
a great
it.
place in that time of going down there, as well as being safe.
Yeah, you could go down there and see. I mean, you had Bogarts on the landing, you had Muddy Waters, you had Mississippi Nights. You could just hit everybody.
We got a map in the
That was the
book
beauty of
with
it.
all the
I
clubs
saw
and
that.
everything.
That's so
I think the map's from 1987. What was your favorite show, Mississippi Nights?
Oh, my favorite experience. Well, I always met the bands. So I would get down there early, and
You could meet the band then.
right, you could really get up close and personal inside, and you could come early or stay late and
These
meet the
stories we
band.
can't tell right now.
No,
So were you a Mississippi Nights groupie?
no.
I know all of them,
I
but-
enjoyed talking to them and getting the autographs and everything. And I met a lady who ended up being one of my very best friends.
Really?
By doing that. We actually found out recently that we were in the back of each other's photos. I was meeting the band, and she
wow.
was meeting the band right next to me.
That's awesome.
My wife, no, she wasn't a groupie. I know the groupies, and I left that out of the book. Yeah, there's plenty of things.
Those are stories
There's
you
no
can't talk
groupie
about the
section in
group.
there?
Tried to keep it the PG-13.
Sure, absolutely. So did you get to, when I'm reading what they're saying, is that did you get to speak to certain people to get this information, interview a lot of people?
We did a
Yeah.
whole lot of interviews.
We
and
got
that was
kind
a
of
lot
lucky
fun.
too. For 2020, nobody was doing anything.
Oh,
So
good idea.
we just basically wrote the book and did yard work. Book. That's all we
I
did.
love
A lot
work.
of Skype and phone interviews.
Yeah, we did that
and
too. Yeah,
some
and we got to
in-person
talk
ones.
to Steve Dugalbice. He was the original owner before he passed
Mm-hmm.
away. So we're really happy that I was able to sit down and.
How
talk.
long did it take you to put this together?
Because it's pretty extensive.
I mean, it's just,
Yeah.
Well,
it's
it was
incredible.
4 years, but we have to thank Angela Sebin. She's the one who put it all. We gave her the stories and the pictures. She's the one who laid it out. So
Right.
we love her so much.
I
And
just,
she told me that we have 1,000 images in the book. You mentioned how many photos are in there.
1,000. It's not like it used to be at all. Concerts, first of all, we're inundated with the internet, so they're watching anything they want to watch all the time. Back then, the only way that you saw a band or experienced something was going there and being part of it, and you were so engaged and into it. And now it's almost like they just have, it's not the same as rock and roll. Did you say you played there?
I did. I played in Nichols and Trick Shot. Both played there. We played.
What
We
year
were
was
in
that?
Nichols.
I was a-
Oh, I got some 8x10s you don't want to see.
I do,
Too
though.
bad we didn't know that ahead of time.
After we're done filming this,
I do
got
want to
something.
see those.
I do.
Yeah, so I just think that it's just it just brings back memories of being young and the way things were. It was just, and they thought these rock and rollers, they're never going to amount to anything. Or long hair and their
Oh, sure.
and look what's happened, right?
I look like nothing like I did back then.
Yeah, hair down to
Nothing.
there. What do they call the hair bands or whatever?
Right.
80s.
But yeah, so it's just an incredible. So what made the what ended the venue?
Well,
Which I
it
know
was a
they talk about it in
casino.
the book.
It was the casino. That's the short story. A little bit longer story is the casino had a 2-tier plan, and the first part was to build the casino, and the second part was to make condos and retail space and whatnot.
didn't they only let him pay $1 a month or something
Right,
to rent
right.
Mississippi? Because he owned the building, then sold it, and then paid only $1 a month, right?
Right, he
We
sold
have
it
a
to
whole
the city.
chapter on what happened to the building, and that took forever to get correct. But
Business runs slow, so it took a while for them to actually take over the building. And the casino was supposed to do that extra stuff, the second tier, and then the financial crisis of 2008 hit. So they
a
went
long
bankrupt, and now it's a parking lot. So
Oh, that's so sad.
Sundeckers is still sitting there empty. They didn't tear down everything, but all that section, I believe Rivers was right
Yep.
next to Mississippi Nights. That's all gone.
I used to go see Ken Kruger and Big Fun there all the time too. Ken's a good friend of mine, so it
I
was great
like
to see
him.
him.
And all the Big Fun guys
Maurice,
are great.
Savage, which is good. Yeah.
Well, we definitely like to share your experience in our magazine, so that'll be the next venture.
thank
is
you very much.
Let
That's so
everyone else be
cool.
able to see that as well. So we'll be
Do
in
you have
touch
another
with
book
that.
coming up? After this one, any more music venues
Well,
that
I
you
might
want to
do a
take on?
Creepy Crawl book. That was another club that was, it'll be more R-rated than this one. And I would also like to do a Guns N' Roses Riot book for when Axl jumped
yeah.
into it. But I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to do another book.
How long
really
did
don't
this take?
4
For
years.
4 years.
4 years. Wow, that's incredible. So if somebody wants to experience, and it is quite an experience, this book. I mean,
Great
you can
coffee table
probably,
book.
it's like when you go into one of those decor shops and you've been through it and you come back and you're like, oh my gosh, I need to go around at least 10 more times to be able to experience what's all in here. That's what your book is. It's like every
thank
time
you.
you get in it, it's another experience to live and
And it's totally St. Louis,
Yeah.
I wanted to make sure that, all the bands are in there, all the, the big St. Louis bands like the Urge and stuff like that.
Yep. the
Fantastic.
Eyes, yeah.
But
Well,
we think that anybody who loves music would love the book.
even if you weren't into certain bands or a rock star lover or whatever, it will take you back no matter what. It's just, and I think it's for all ages. In fact, I wish and would love for the younger generation to be able to see your book and learn from it, because they missed out on so much that we were able to experience.
I kind of feel like it's the CBGBs of St. Louis. Everybody talks about CBGBs as the club, you know, to get your start. This is the St. Louis version of that,
Yep.
I think.
And if someone wants to get a copy of this and be a part of Mississippi Nights, the history, the music club in St. Louis, how do they do that?
Well, they can get an author signed copy at MississippiNights.com.
Which I would like mine signed, please.
Sure. We didn't do that?
No.
Oh, no.
To the
Okay.
person that fell, it's great to meet you.
I met you, it was like 1 minute, right?
And
Also, Amazon and Barnes & Noble. And
most of the bookstores and most of the record stores.
Vintage
in the
Vinyl
area.
has a display right when you walk into the building of our book, and we're so honored by that. You know,
Oh,
it's
I'm
just
sure.
amazing.
It really is.
The
It's
book house
incredible.
in Manchester was displaying it in the window, and just, I don't know. It's
Do you have
exciting.
a book signing event? Do you have something coming up?
We do. Our next event is going to be in Edwardsville at the Edwardsville Public Library, and that's going to be on September 21st at 6:30. And we're going to do a talk about the venue beforehand and,
Love that.
and sign. And then we've been invited to join Fragile Porcelain Mice and Sinister Dane at their concert at Pops. So we will be there
Wow.
on October 14th.
Boy, I haven't been to that place in a long time. I'm so old now.
Sometimes we're in bed by 9.
I don't think Pops is 24 hours a day anymore. 2020 changed it, but it's
did
still
it?
Pops, and we won't get into that.
He used
right
to go to work at 9. Now he goes to bed at 9. So I miss out on that. Do you doing a 6 o'clock? We'll come.
But the Fragile Porcelain Mice show, those guys came to our house and we interviewed them. It was fantastic. And then
that's
Sinister Dane, I got into music a little bit after them, but we love them too. So we're very excited. They're great.
Well, great. Thank you so much.
Thank
Go
you.
ahead. Sorry.
Oh, we got introduced to quite a bit of music that we
Oh,
hadn't
I'm sure.
seen before, so that was a lot of fun.
And there is so much. I mean, there's so many that I had never heard of in there. He probably knows more of it because that was
Yes.
his life for a long time. So it all brings back to him. But thank you so much for
thanks for
spending
having
time
us.
with us here on In Your City Show. And what city are you from?
We
St.
are
Louis.
St. Louis.
St. Louis. All right. Well, we loved having you here. And probably our question was, what's your favorite summer memory? Is probably going to Mississippi Nights, right?
It must be. Yeah.
Probably. Yeah.
All right. Well, I think everyone should get a hold of one of these books. It's incredible. You won't regret getting it. It's fabulous. So thank you so much, Stacy and Garrett Enloe. We appreciate you being here on In Your City Show. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.